Hello, and welcome back to another Summit Conversations video where I have been bringing you behind the scenes in my business, where I'm just trying to kind of keep it real and give a really transparent look at really the business and summit hosting journey. So I am in the season where my brain is kind of just like exploding with ideas, and I'm wondering how on earth we're going to get to them all. I just know it's going to take time, but we have a 5-day challenge coming up, a new course I'm building out. We're in the midst of summit planning. I have even more ideas now from a mastermind event I was at last week. And my Asana board it's colorful right now. Let's just say that. I'm sure I will give you a behind the scenes of most of those projects at some point, but today I wanted to focus on something that's at the top of mind for me because I'm doing it, but it's something we don't talk about a lot, which is what happens when you are planning the second run of a successful summit. So we're currently about 3 months out from running our second Membership Momentum Summit. First of all, it's been a while since I've run a full repeat summit without at least changing like the audience that it's targeted for. And it is so nice to not have to start from scratch with everything. Just like little tweaks and checking tasks off my list because they're already done, and I love it. But with that being said, I do still recommend the same 90 to 120 day time frame, even for you host running repeat summits after a successful first run. You'll just spend fewer hours on the project over those 90 to 120 days, but you still need to find the speakers, pitch speakers, wait for responses, let them create their content, get the content ready, have time to promote. It's still like a sizable project, even though your hours are less. But anyways, for anyone planning a repeat summit, I think it's important for you to look at a few different pieces of your previously successful event so you can decide what's staying the same and what is changing in the next run. So like the questions you ask yourself for this can be very simple. And I'm going to give you an example, like an overview of the questions, and then talk through some of the answers I have come up with for Membership Momentum. Again, just to give you that little behind the scenes and so you can see what answers to these questions could look like. So first for me, I look at what from the first run of an event am I going to keep? So what went so well the first time that it's going to stay the same this time without any changes? These are my favorite parts personally because it means less work for my team and I. We're just like, yep, that part looks good. Check it off the list. But you're also going to look at what needs to change. So from my perspective, it could be a strategy that we just completely ditch or something that just needs to be tweaked. Maybe for you, there was a piece of your event that you didn't like or that didn't get great feedback from attendees. Maybe your conversion rates weren't as high as you'd like in an area and you want to optimize those things. But those could all lead to changes that you're making. And then last, you can look at whether there is anything you want to like elevate or add or experiment with that will improve the experience or results or anything like that. So for what this looks like for us with Membership Momentum, the biggest change I'm considering centers around the choose your own adventure format that we did last year. To give you a little context, basically attendees could be sorted into one of 3 groups and it totally customized the entire experience from like the all access pass sales pages they went to the presentations that they were suggested to like the dashboard and schedule pages they went to. It was amazing. Attendees loved it. It was mentioned in almost every piece of feedback we received. It just let them like completely customize their summit experience based on where they were in their journey with their membership. But it was such an incredible amount of work for us. Like the logistics of creating multiple content tracks with different emails, email sequences, pages, links. It was so complex. Like it was a whole situation. It was a lot. Basically, take all your summit pages and emails times 4, because we also had to consider the people that didn't take the quiz, right? It was really a whole situation and I loved it, but we can't do it again. So I'm exploring a middle ground of maybe keeping some of the personalization aspect in some of those areas, but removing it anywhere I think it can be simplified without impacting results. Like we absolutely will not have 4 different registration email sequences, because what it actually meant was we had like 20, because if someone took the quiz partway through, we had to put them in a different sequence at the right point, and it's just a situation. So we're going to see if we can find a better way to do that. Another big decision that I made for this event involved slightly repositioning the entire summit. in a very small way. So last year, membership momentum was about growing memberships, essentially, with just one day focused on using summits as a growth strategy. And what this did was it gave us a wider audience up front. More people run memberships than summits, and I was like, my hope is that we can bring in all these membership people and kind of convince them throughout that a summit is something they should be thinking about. But our back end conversion rates were lower than our summit focused events. Still great results, but I think we can make it better. So for round 2, I'm considering a little bit of a pivot. So it's still going to be about memberships, right? But I want to tie in the summit part of it more into the overall messaging. Like, you are learning about growing your membership with summits. So that's going to narrow our initial audience, but I think it's going to really differentiate us in a space that now has quite a few membership summits from people who kind of followed suit after our event last year. And I think it will also attract more people who are more open to the idea of summits and at least match our results from last year, if not exceed them and improve our back-end results. So it's a risk overall. A positioning change is always one of the biggest risks you can make, but experimenting is kind of what I do around here. So I am up for the challenge. And those are really the biggest pieces I'm having to rethink this time. Our strategy is obviously fairly rock solid since it's my job to teach it. But it makes round 2 of this pretty darn easy. And I would hope a repeat summit feels pretty easy, at least relatively easy for you as well. And that's something I want you to consider. If you have hosted one event, but you haven't gone back for round 2 yet, especially if round 1 got great results. Like, the beautiful thing about running a summit for the second time is that so much of your foundation is just already built. You already understand the process, which is more than half the battle. Your tech stack is probably established. You already have promo materials, web pages, emails, everything else that just needs to be tweaked and maybe optimized a little bit. You know what speakers performed well last time, so you can key in on that for your speaker decisions this time. It just gives you the freedom to focus on optimization and other areas of your life and business, rather than creating everything from scratch. I also feel like it just releases a lot of pressure that you probably feel the first time you're planning a summit. So if you are planning a repeat summit, if I were to give you action steps, first it would be to go back and look at your feedback. So look at any notes that you and your team had about the event, or like overall how you felt about the experience. And then also weigh in on any feedback you collected from your attendees and your speakers as well, because maybe it's been a while and you just need a refresher on those things. I also want you to look at numbers, of course. So look at what your conversion rates look like and what needs to be optimized. And based on those things, you can decide what stays, what gets updated, what needs to be added based on these things. Really, all you're doing is making your existing event more efficient and perform better. And at least if you're like me, it's kind of fun. So if also that's something you would want support with, optimizing repeat summits is actually something we specialize in helping people with in the Launch with a Summit Accelerator. So go ahead and submit an application if it's something you are interested in having our support on. We would love to help you. But this week in the comments, I would love to hear what questions you have about how I'm approaching this upcoming summit, or questions you have about running a summit for the second time. I would love to create specific videos on really any question you have about the summit, because it's really fun for me to create the videos as I'm actually doing the thing, and we're doing the thing right now. So go ahead and leave any questions you have in the comments, and I will answer them there or in the next video. Thank you for being here.